Ireland's Vanishing Triangle is a term created by the media to describe the disappearances of 6 young Irish women who went missing along the east coast of Ireland in the 90s. When pinpointed on a map, the locality of each disappearance forms a triangle, stretching from County Louth to Wexford and Offaly. I will be exploring these women's stories through the eyes of the media over the course of 3 decades. It is important to contextualise where the journalistic focus of news was during the 90s in Ireland. The Troubles were at the forefront of Irish journalism. Reports of bombings and deaths were commonplace in journalism articles at the time, as well as televised news. A short while after Annie McCarrick's disappearance, the Shankill Road bombings occurred. The Irish Times reported on the victims of the Shankill Road bombings, titled, "As the dust settles, an eerie silence envelops North and West Belfast." It is evident Ireland experienced severe change and turmoil in the 90s due to the ever-growing conflict between Catholics and Protestants. Ireland was a conservative nation during the 90s, and concern for the safety of women was not at the forefront of public discussion. As quoted by Claire McGowan in her book, The Vanishing Triangle, "We weren't worried about being abducted by strangers in cars. What we were worried about was accidentally being shot by the soldiers who were crouched in the hedgerows."
The Shankill Road was crowded with the usual Saturday lunchtime shoppers. The bomb exploded without warning. It ripped through the fishmonger's shop and the building on either side. The shop is virtually demolished. Many passers-by were caught up in the blast.
Annie McCarrick was an American woman from Long Island, New York, living in Ireland in the suburban area of Sandymount, Dublin. She went missing on the 26th of March 1993 and was last seen in Johnny Fox's pub not far from the Wicklow Mountains. The Wicklow Mountains on the east coast of Ireland are synonymous with murder and disappearance. The murder of Phyllis Murphy occurred in the same area 2 decades prior to McCarrick's disappearance, and the mountains would also later be linked to the disappearance of Eva Brennan, although Brennan is not considered a formal member of the Vanishing Triangle.
For Annie McCarrick's family, it's been a living nightmare. This morning, like every morning since she disappeared, they've been racking their brains trying to find some clue as to her whereabouts. On the 26th of March, the day Annie disappeared, she was seen getting on a bus for Enniskerry. Gardaí believe she may have got to Enniskerry, and today they carried out a search of the area. They've also been searching the area around Johnny Fox's pub in the Dublin Mountains, where it's believed Annie McCarrick was last seen with the man on the night she disappeared.
McCarrick's disappearance set the catalyst for what would later be coined by the media as Ireland's Vanishing Triangle. The Irish Times did not report on her disappearance until the 7th of April 1993 in an article titled "Search for Woman Continues." The article gives a brief description of her last known whereabouts and the time frame in which she was last seen. The article does not contain a photo of Annie, nor does it contain a description of her appearance, and it is beneath an article containing a picture of the Bishop and the Minister for Education at the time. It can be argued that journalistic approaches to missing women during the early 90s weren't seen as urgent to report upon, as opposed to political and religious matters, when looking at the newspaper archives of that era. When searching in the Irish Times archives, articles pertaining to the disappearance of Eva Brennan cannot be found. However, this would change, as many more women began to go missing during the 90s, and the idea that there may be a connection between the cases became more apparent. Sarah McInerney, in her book, Where No One Can Hear You Scream, was quoted as saying, "However, the suspicion that a serial killer might be operating in Ireland only increased in the years following Annie's disappearance, as women continued to disappear around the country." Operation Trace was set up in 1998 by the Irish Police Commissioner Pat Byrne. It was set up in the hope of determining if 6 specific cases involving missing women were linked, and if a serial killer or killers were operating throughout the eastern region of Ireland. The number of cases in this series has long been disputed, as there are possible links to cases going as far back as the 1980s, although the formal members of the triangle in order are Annie McCarrick, who went missing on the 26th of March 1993 and was last spotted at Johnny Fox's pub near the Wicklow Mountains. Jojo Dullard, aged 21, from Kilkenny, Ireland, went missing after spending the day in Dublin and failing to make her 6 o'clock bus to Callan. She opted to get the bus to Naas and hitchhiked from there. She ended up in Moon, County Kildare. This was the last known sighting of Dullard. Fiona Pender, aged 25, was last seen leaving her apartment by her boyfriend John Thompson. Pender was 7 months pregnant at the time of her disappearance. On August 22, 1996, Pender had spent the day with her mother buying baby clothes and had departed her home in a taxi. Her mother watched as she walked into her home. However, the next day, when her mother called at the house, Fiona did not answer. The official date of her disappearance was the 23rd of August 1996. Ciara Breen was the youngest to disappear at only 17 years old. She disappeared from Dundalk, County Louth on the 13th of February 1997. She was last seen by her mother Bernadette. Fiona Sinnott was a 19-year-old mother from Ballyhit, County Wexford. She was last seen on the 8th of February socialising in Butler's pub in Broadway, County Wexford. Deirdre Jacob was 18 from Newbridge, County Kildare. She went missing on the 28th of July 1998. She was living in Twickenham, London and studying at St Mary's University, but was home for the summer. She disappeared just yards from her parents' home. Passing motorists witnessed Jacob approaching within yards of her parents' driveway. Alan Bailey is a retired member of An Garda Síochána and former head of the Cold Case Unit. He was also a columnist for the Sunday World. He released a book in 2014 titled Missing Presumed, in which he discusses the disappearances of the 6 women at length, as well as Operation Trace. It is evident when looking at the women as individual disappearances and as a collective phenomenon, all being young and similar in appearance and disappearing under similar circumstances, it can be understood why the media began to link the disappearances together. After the disappearance of Deirdre Jacob, this brought Operation Trace into action. Alan Bailey was quoted as saying, "Although there had over the years been a number of other high-profile disappearances, very little consideration had ever been given by investigating Gardaí to the possibility of a connection or pattern linking one or more of them. This attitude in media reports and in the minds of the public changed dramatically with the disappearance of Deirdre Jacob." With the emergence of the true crime community on YouTube and TikTok, in recent years, numerous individuals have begun to discuss the cases associated with the Vanishing Triangle at length. This recent phenomenon of reporting on true crime has become apparent in recent years. Media scholar George Larkin Walsh cites this trend in her book, True Crime in America. When self-proclaimed amateur sleuths use social media to investigate or comment upon ongoing criminal investigations, it adds a whole new dimension to debates about the social value or ethics of genre form. While the book is written in an American context, it can arguably be applied to true crime worldwide, as these issues are prevalent in many true crime cases, including Ireland's Vanishing Triangle. The first YouTuber to publish a video covering Ireland's Vanishing Triangle was a channel by the name of Merc Docs. They released a video entitled 10 Unsolved Mysteries of Ireland. The video presented a well-informed analysis of cases that shook Ireland throughout the years. However, when it came to comments about Ireland's Vanishing Triangle in the comments section, many individuals speculated possible theories regarding the disappearances of the women rather than engaging with the factual content that was in the video. One such comment stated, "I live less than 5 minutes from Deirdre's house, and when she went missing, Larry Murphy was doing the carpentry work on our house at the exact same time. I was a baby at the time, but my parents said he was quite a shy guy, though my mom was home alone with him one evening and he was acting really strange and creepy. So my mom got her brother to come over. so she was not alone. When Deirdre went missing, our whole house and grounds were searched. My mum has had a close brush with evil. Very scary, very sad. When true crime videos are published on public platforms such as YouTube and TikTok, even those that are well researched can give rise to inaccurate discussions in the comment sections. The comments section of YouTube and TikTok follow similar tropes. Popular Irish TikToker Skin Influenced by MSK discussed the case and garnered over 30,000 likes, and the comment section was similar to that of Merc Docs, with a lot of speculation surrounding Larry Murphy. Larkin Walsh discusses audience participation in her book, stating, "The ethics and civic purpose of audience participation is an important area of debate in any aspect of mass media. But now that social media has joined the true crime sphere and opened up spaces for instant, real-time discussion on events as they unfold, the ethics of such practices have changed shape yet again." Arguments surrounding the ethics of true crime being reported on social media come into play, as creators themselves have done independent research to accurately portray the cases. However, their comment section display a lot of conspiracy theory that has not yet been proven, giving way to speculation and misinformation. 2 days before the 30th anniversary of McCarrick's disappearance on the 24th of March 2023, An Garda Síochána announced that they were upgrading the case from a missing persons investigation to a murder inquiry. Old forms of media, such as print media, are still in circulation today, with papers like the Irish Independent, the Irish Times and the Irish Mirror now being published online. They all still discuss the cases of the Vanishing Triangle, and now that McCarrick's case is being investigated as a murder inquiry, these newspapers have discussed this at length. The update in McCarrick's case has yet to be reported upon on YouTube. However, it has been reported upon on TikTok. Irish TikToker Clodagh Irish Crime reported upon the case and gave a factual analysis of the murder inquiry of McCarrick. However, in the comments section, once again, it gave way to speculatory culture, with people commenting, speculating that Larry Murphy was somehow involved. While my research is avoiding delving into the realm of conspiracy theory, many people speculate that Larry Murphy is somehow involved in the disappearances. Regardless of this, it is important that we share the stories of these women as individuals and keep their names alive. Annie McCarrick,
Jojo Dullard,
Fiona Pender,
Ciara Breen,
Fiona Sinnott,
Deirdre Jacob,